I had always been drawn to the eerie and mysterious. It's no surprise that when I heard about the Museum of Shadows, I couldn't resist the temptation to visit. The locals whispered about it, calling it the Museum of Curses, or the House of Haunts. They said it was a place where the darkest artifacts from history rested, each one carrying a sinister tale of death and despair. One gloomy autumn evening, I decided to venture into the heart of the city to find this infamous museum. Its location was shrouded in secrecy, as if it were meant to be hidden from the prying eyes of the curious. I asked a few people for directions, and their faces grew pale as they reluctantly pointed me in the right direction. The Museum of Shadows stood at the end of a narrow, dimly lit alley. Its facade was old and foreboding, with vines creeping up the walls as if trying to reclaim it from the world of the living. The sign above the entrance was barely visible, covered in grime and weathered by time. As I stepped inside, a chill ran down my spine, and I couldn't help but feel like an intruder in this place. The museum's interior was a labyrinth of dimly lit corridors, each one leading to a different exhibit of macabre artifacts. The air was heavy with the scent of aged wood and dust. I began my journey with a sense of trepidation, not knowing what horrors awaited me. My first encounter was with a cursed mirror. Legend had it that anyone who gazed into it would see their darkest fears come to life. As I peered into the mirror, I saw grotesque figures emerging from the shadows, their eyes filled with malice. I quickly averted my gaze, but the image remained burned into my mind. Moving deeper into the museum, I stumbled upon a room filled with ancient dolls. They were porcelain beauties with hollow eyes that seemed to follow me wherever I went. As I examined them, I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. I turned, but there was no one there. The dolls' whispers filled the room, their voices a haunting chorus of forgotten souls. The next exhibit was a collection of cursed jewelry. As I reached out to touch a necklace adorned with a blood-red gemstone, I felt a searing pain in my hand. I recoiled in horror, realizing that the jewelry had burned a mark into my skin. The pain was intense, but it was nothing compared to the terror that awaited me. I ventured deeper into the museum, my heart pounding in my chest. The walls seemed to close in on me, and the shadows danced with malevolence. In a dimly lit chamber, I encountered a painting that seemed to come alive. The figures in the painting whispered to me, their voices a cacophony of agony. I could feel their pain, their despair, and their anger consuming me. As I tried to leave the room, the door slammed shut behind me, trapping me in the darkness. Panic set in as I fumbled for an escape. The walls seemed to pulse with a sinister energy, and I knew I was not alone. In the dim light, I saw the figures from the painting materialize before me, their twisted faces contorted in agony. I screamed as they reached out for me, their ghostly hands passing through my body. Their anguished cries filled the air, and I felt a crushing weight on my chest. It was as if the very essence of their torment was trying to consume me. With every ounce of strength, I managed to break free and stumble out of the room. I ran through the museum's labyrinthine corridors, each step echoing with the whispers of the damned. Finally, I burst out into the alley, gasping for breath and covered in sweat. The Museum of Shadows had exacted a toll on my soul, and I knew I would never be the same. The darkness of that place clung to me, a curse that I would carry with me for the rest of my days. I had ventured into the heart of horror, and I had barely escaped with my life. As I walked away from that accursed museum, I couldn't help but wonder if it was all real or merely a manifestation of my darkest fears. But one thing was certain. The Museum of Shadows was a place where nightmares came to life, and it was a place I would never forget.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching.